Shir sponsor Louis Nishma, Sam Yaakov Shalom, and Labas Yitzchok. We're holding in Bava Kamo Daf Kuf Yudalef. We're starting in the two dots in the top of the Amud, second line. Says the Gemara, Nosar Sakesev Le Yehoyoriv. Someone gave the money for the. There's Mishmaras, we mentioned, different groups of Kohanim that work at Beis Hamikdash, and he went and he gave the money to Yehoyoriv. He gave the Asher to Yehoyoriv, the first Mishmaras, and he gave the animal to the second Mishmaras. Yachzir Kesef Etzlo Sham Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Yehuda says you have to take back. So we mentioned that if you do the carbon before, if you give the carbon before the money, it doesn't work. So what's the solution? How do you solve the problem? Who's the one who's responsible to give it back? So the Gemara says that Rabbi Yehuda learns Yachzir Kesef Etzlo Sham. You give the money to the carbon. You bring the money to the carbon, which means the money is in the second Mishmaras, in Yoyodoyo. The carbon is by Yoyoriv, the first Mishmaras. So the Anshe Mishmaras Yoyodoyo need to bring the money back, need to give the money to Anshe Yoyoriv. That's what you do. No. Once he did that way, you give the carbon, which was not yet shechted, to the Mishmaras of the second one, to Yoyodoyo. So one second. What's the case? Ilemo daf kuf yud alef. Ilem di yorev le'oshom le'yoyoriv b'mishpator di yoyoriv. He gave the carbon to the shevet to the mishparis yoyoriv in doing the time they're working. And a week later he came to Yodayo and he gave him the money. What did they do wrong? You understand at this stage?
He didn't do anything wrong, but he doesn't get a kapara.
The kapara, he has to bring the carbon. Right. Why did they have to give up the carbon? And bring it? Why is their responsibility? No, chutzman is a machshava. It has nothing to do with this. He's doing it right time to eat it then. He did everything the first week. The first week, he takes the animal and brings it to Yoyoriv, and he takes the money and goes to the Yeshivas of Yoda. They're not working that week, but he's giving it to them and saying, this will be for you for next week. Now the Yodio is not working. The Yodio you have to pay it back. Yodio is the one responsible to bring the money back to its place. Nobody Yoyoriv did something wrong. Why? The kiblu asho mekabel kesef. Why did they take the carbon without the money? So they're responsible. Why did they take the carbon before the money? So here it is already mentioned. So also if he did the money in the right time, meaning it would be kol sheken. Kol sheken if when he gave the money to Yoyoda, he did it in the wrong week, I still say Yoyariv is responsible why he took the carbon too early. So kol sheken, if they gave the money to Yoyodo in the week of Yoyodo, then Yoyoriv is responsible to give back the carbon. It means kol sheken. We're just talking about the other side, it was the chiddush. But Yoyoriv did something wrong. Why are you taking the carbon and not making sure that he paid the money? Simultaneous, I believe you.
It's a price to the person of
the Kohanim were the ones that are responsible to make sure things are done in the right way. Tanya Omar Rabbi Yudo Im Kodmu Bnei Yoyoriv. If Ibn Yoriv made a mistake and they're makriv the asham first, so then you have to bring another asham. You have to bring another asham. And then Bnei Yoriv, they shech the carbon, they can enjoy it. They can enjoy it. Says the Gemara, what do you mean they can enjoy it? It's an asham which is not done correctly. Asham which is not done correctly, you can't eat. Says the Gemara, you can enjoy the skin, not the carbon.
It's not just he doesn't get a kapara, the whole asham is.
Talking about a Rabbi Yehuda, yeah, asham is possible, right? If he's checked it,
it's not just
because it was done the wrong way. So that the money goes, so they can only enjoy the skin. Here, Taisus brings a big question. We do find sometimes in Shas that when the basar is also b'achila, so the skin is also b'ana. Here you also zachsu b'achilo, and the skin is mutabano. How do you shtim this? So this goes on to explain the chiluk between the different cases. Telling what time? Omar Rabbi Divi Rabbi Yudo in Kayam Oshom Yagzo Oshom Etzel Kesef. If the Oshom is alive, you bring the Oshom to the money. In other words, you bring it from the first Mishmeres and you understand the second Mishmeres. So when we're talking about Rabbi Yudo, he said the exact opposite. Yagzo Kesef Oshom, bring the Kesef to the Oshom. He says, "Well, you see, Ocho." He says, The Mishmeres Yoraviv, the money is supposed to go to them. Right? He brought the carbon to them. According to Rabbi Yudo, the responsibility is that Bnei Yehoyada will bring the money that he gave them and give it to the Mishmeres of Yoraviv. But here Yoraviv did not ask for it. They waited for the week. If they waited for the week, then he say, okay, they gave it up. Then he had the right, when they got the carbon, to say, where is the money? Oh, the money I give to the next express. Next express, please bring the money right now. But if they say, no, I don't want to give the money right now, so then you can give and they didn't ask for it, so then you give the Osho to the second express. That's one meme. Tani, so the one brace. If you have the carbon, you give the money back with the carbon. That's exactly what he said. We continue on the same idea, the same concept we had before. It was like this. The first, he gave the carbon to the first mishmeres. And the same week, he gave the money to the second mishmeres. The right is the first mishmeres should go and demand from the second mishmeres, give me back the money. But they didn't. Passed the week. Comes out the week of the second mishmeres. Now, as we learned in the previous price, so they have the right to go back to the first mishmeres and say, where's the animal the guy gave you? We want to be makrit. They have the right. But they didn't. You get to week number 3. So mishpacha number 1 missed the opportunity to do the carbon. Mishpacha number 2 missed the opportunity to give the carbon. Now it is go to mishpacha number 1 or mishpacha number 2. That's what we say. Maybe there was a mechilo, and it doesn't really matter anymore. Because the second mishpacha did not use the opportunity they had to do the carbon, now it goes back to the original, to the first mishpacha. And when is the first mishpacha going to come back? Every how many times do we have mishmeres? Every 24 weeks. 24 mishmeres. So we'll come in 24 weeks, which is about a half a year.
24 mishmeres.
24. So each one is a week. Yeah. Says the Gemara. So that was the two brises regarding the week past the bell. So son brought the money before he brought the carbon. It's fine. We're not the opposite. So one understands what is the araya. You bring the asham when you're talking about the money, except also the carbon you need to bring. So the according to one understanding, when it says milvad, it means except what you need to bring in the future. So according to that, what are you going to say regarding carbon tummy? It says milvad or l'savoyker. When you bring a musaf, it says except or l'savoyker. What does it make sense l'savoyker? That you bring the l'savoyker when? Before or after? One thing musaf comes first. How do you know nothing can come to his belly before carbon and tummy the shachar? The oilo, you put on the mizbeach the oilo. Oilo with a hey, oilo rishon. It's the first oilo. So we know, even though it says milvad, doesn't mean you give it later. So you want to know? I'm not learning for the word milvad because the milvad kipurim asher yichaper loshen osik, loshen a future tense, except the carbon that still needs to come. That's the loshen of the pasuk. Mashra didn't come yet. But if it would come yet, and Echanavi means it's not right. In other words, I said it wrong. Just say it in better words. If you would say the words milvad, only milvad doesn't mean it's going to come in the future. It could be come in the past. But because it says Mevad Asher Yichapi Lo Shanasi, that means it's coming in the future. Naslo Sakarin. So the Gemara brings an example from another case of Mila. Mila is someone who used kosher, so he needs to pay the money plus a chayvish has to be korban Mila. He brought the korban Mila, didn't bring the principal. He brought the Hashem without Mila. It needs to be the. I said I translated Hashem to the principal. Miloso is the principal. Hashem was the korban. It says so you have to have, so the way Rashi learns it, because it says Ayil is the korban, and here we're talking about Hashem is the money, as I said before. Ayil ha'Hashem, the Ayil with the Hashem together. He brought the animal without the money is not Yotzeh. Right, the Ayil of the Hashem which already exists. The animal comes on the money. Maybe you need to give the fine as well. Is what required in order to have kaparo. And now we're learning. So is that a question? The statement. Hegdish and Hegdish Hegdish meaning Hegdish talking about Me'ilah. The word Asham in the pasuk means principle. We don't require you to bring the fine, as you said by us, that we just said by Hegdish. It's not Me'akev. So the source that you don't pay Chomish, the Chomish is not Me'akev. In our case, in the case of Gezla Ger, is because of you learn from English. One goes, this is the last and final parak of Meseches Bava Kama. Someone steals and he feeds his kids. And he gave it to them, put it in front of them. They don't have to pay what the father stole. But if it is a chayas, so then they have to pay, and the Gemara is going to explain what that means. It says the Gemara, someone stole, and the owners were not misash. Someone else came and ate it. So if Chizda's shita is Yush takes away the ownership. But here there was no Yush. So who do you go to? Anybody you want. The guy who stole it, or the guy the guy who stole it. Why? By time as long as there's no Yush, it's still considered to be in the Rishus of the owner. And that's it. Now like we said earlier in the Masechta, we got him in Agana. In the Rishus. He owns his Rishus. So let's see, look at our Mishnah. So a person stole it in front of his kids, they don't pay. Why don't they pay? They should pay because he someone who it's still B'shusa of the guy. Yeah, and right now the father died, she can go in a second. But you to the Avchiz, the Chut to the Avchiz, that's talking about after Yush. That's talking about if there was a Yush, they left it in the Rishus. Says the Goyim, you put it in front of them, the bottom of the You see from here that a Yoirish is like a buyer. The same way a buyer is considered to be your Patul B'Shalom if you sold it. So also by Yoirish, you Patul. It's not considered to be like considered that he sold it. We talk about that they ate it. It's not there anymore. You don't have anymore the item that he stole. So it says if there was a chayes, you have to pay. So what does it mean? Rashi learns so it's something which is very clear. Talking about the exile is there. So if it has a chayes, you have to pay. Not a chayes that it's an item which is like no. Talk about an actual achrayas dechosim that you gave him achrayas to the person. He left him a karka, right? Because the karka, because in other words, he left him a karka, a land. So Rabbi taught us Sodom Shimon, Lloyd Dovashish Brachayas Mamis, that doesn't mean Mamish Achayas meaning karkos. You have a cow and is plying with it. Or a donkey, which he is, guiding. So anything has to be called of him, not another Zanta must call him. The Gemara asked.
Not because of the Yisrael Zayla, which says water cover the beam, which is different.
Yeah, but the might say, no, I know, but we talk about
about this before cover the beam.
Right. And the Gemara says, you see from here the Yeshus Church, Yeshus look at Dami. Hi. Right. No. The Gemara said that the fact that the Sefer Mishnah says, what does the Sefer say? Different than the Reisha. In the Reisha case, you don't have to give back. When the Sefer you do, what's the Sefer you do? Because cover the view. So what is the Reisha talking about? It still exists. That's the right. Not from the Sefer. Sefer, you're right. But the Reisha, you have a problem. If it still exists, so you have to. So why did he pay back? You see from here that the Yorush look at. Hello, my Rava. Says Rava the following. Kishachivno, when I will be nifter min oilam, Rabbi Shaya novik b'basif. Rabbi Shaya will come to greet me. Why? The taritz to Masiz Kavasei. I said the Mishnah is going like Rabbi Shaya. We'll go back to the sentence in one moment. Tell you Rabbi Shaya. How goes a little machlis born someone who goes and feeds his kids. Turim milashan, they don't have to pay. But if it's there, chayavim. So meaning what? The lashon over here is this is all going to the Mishnah. And it's not there, they're part. If we're talking about KMS, so they're chayav. If the exil is not KMS, so then it depends on the chayav. Meaning, and economy. If the exile is there, they have to give it back because Yeshus Yoyiresh Lav Yeshus Lokeh. If the exile is not KMS, then the depends on the chayav.
Since when if somebody steals, you can go to Gaiva from Karka that he has.
No, always.
Somebody steals that.
Yeah. No, the Gazlan has a chayav. For sure. And if he sold it to somebody after?
If he sold that picture.
Yeah.
It's not talking.
Here's like the same thing. In other words, the Gemara is saying like this. The children are brought to from Lishalim. Unless they got a karka from a beam, which is a charas dechosim. Always fathers.
This is not the karka he stole.
Doesn't matter. Charas dechosim is not the karka. He didn't steal karka. He stole an item, he stole a car.
Right, he stole a car.
Yeah.
And if he has karka, then he sold. But if he already stole a car, what's the reason that you have?
In other words, the Gazlo has a din of a lender. The same way by a lender. No, the official is a call. More says Gazlo is a call. Gazlo is a call. Yeah. There's a call, and this is what we do by Gazlo. If by Yerush, you for sure say.
So it must be he sold it after he was.
By Yerush, you have to get the car.
After he was gone.
Yeah, for sure. Before there's also, and then not. Says the Gemara, if the exam is not Kayam, it's Potter. Now we're going with this Shita. Name it after you to Rav Chisda. So that would be a question of Rav Chisda that said in the beginning of the Amud. Rav Chisda said in the beginning of the Amud that you could take it away from the second person. Again, Rav Chisda will say that's after Yush. Rav Chisda is the one who says only before Yush you can take from both, not after Yush. If the exile is carried, you have to pay. Name it after you to the Ryan Bachama. The Ryan Bachama said that they're considered to be Rishus. Look at. This is talking about before Yush. In other words, there was Rishus below Yush. Is that quite? Rishus below Yush, is that quite? And that's why. But if in a Chanami it was after you, no, all what Ryan Bachama said that once it goes to the Lokeach, so then you don't have to pay back. That's only if it was after Yush. If then Yush, you do have to pay back.
Shot with 9 years that Shin Rishus like Hana, but this or is it no Shin Rishus? It's not.
No,
not even.
It is Shin Rishus. Shin Rishus is not great because we shouldn't have a discussion. Shin Rishus and then Yush. There's a lot over here. Let's see just a few more lines. End this down.
So why is he kind of? If he's saying there is a Shin Rishus.
So according, so Ryan Bachama.
Why is he kind of? There was a shin rishus. So what Maisa?
No, so there is. So Rabbi Chama says like this: if you have a person who stole and there was yush, and then he sold it, you can't take away from the lokech. Why? Because you have yush, then shir rishus. But if there was no yush, even if he stole it, even if he sold it, you could take it from the lokech.
Yeah, but what happens if he stole it, right? Okay, but you're talking about shin rishus, so there's a shin rishus. What does it mean?
No, the first no.
You're not talking the Gaza.
The Gaza shir rishus. Yeah. Second one. It's after the achrayas of the Gaza. Yeah. Something more. Vada ba'avo mandin la'adu harim b'chamo. Vada ba'avo quotes harim b'chamo. Harim b'chamo that says that the lekeach is different and the Yerush like the lekeach. And the following thing. Nichel aviyah moish ribis. We're talking about a case that he left ribis. The children know that's ribis. And chavim lachzir. They don't have to pay back, even though they know it's ribis. Even though it's they know what it is. So says Rabbi Chama on this. Oh, you see that a buyer, the one who inherits is like a lokech. Rava Omar lo ilom im alok shus yoyesh lav ke shus lokech. That is not the same thing. Shani ochod omakol al kach mino nesher v'tarbis. Says don't take him nesher tarbis. This is make sure that your brother can live with you. So if there is ribis that he paid, give it back. The special example cost you have to pay back. So what's it? That's a din by the person who did it. It says don't take the ribis. If you take it, give it back. If I didn't take it, the son said I didn't take it, you have to give it back. Whoever says on the even because they both will say that the Yerush is like a lokech. Whoever says in the Mishnah, Rabbi will agree that a ribis is different because ribis have a special example. It's only the person himself who lend ribis needs to give it back, not the son. By a son by regular exelo, he may have to go and give it back. Now, we'll end with two nekudas just to say. One nekuda is just to know that this staff, this almud, this mamish, the tastism over here, you have all these studies of how, when do you say, you have yush, shini rishus, when does yush work? Does a yerush could do it or not? All these different transactions all included here. There's a lot of read about it, and it really belongs here, even though we mentioned it before, but here's the main place. Just to end with one point. Bava says, when I go up to Shamayim, Rabbi Shai will come greet me because I explained the Mishnah like him. So here's a source in Shas, what's brought down in the Sefer Hasidim, that when a person works with someone else's Torah, so that person will come and greet him from Shamayim. And it's brought down that the Magid Misharim is the Beis Yosef, that the Malach came to speak to him. So the Malach told him, the Magid came to speak to him, he said, you should know that in Shamayim, the Rambam is extremely happy with you because you explained him. You explained the Rambam, he's extremely happy with you. And it's brought down, there's a sefer called Migini Shlomo. The Migini Shlomo was the grandson or descendant of the Rashi, who wrote a sefer to answer the questions of Taisus and Rashi. Called Migini Shlomo, protect Shlomo, Shlomo Rashi. It says that, it brings the Akdama, that Rashi came to him in a dream and said that he's very, very happy with what he's doing, and he's giving him a lot of, and he's making me mailings for him. So this is the source. Here's the Gemara. You have a concept. When you have someone who worked with someone else's Torah, that person is influencing him, and as some of the story bring, based on that Magid Misharim, not only after he dies, even when he's alive, they mail it for him. So anybody who's oisik and he prints, for example, say you print a sefer of a going from the previous generation, he will come and protect you. There's a big inyonim in this Indian, and this comes from this Gemara. And this will be discussed in the Shom Achshav of this daf. We will, so